So, as requested, here's a quick build overview of the little project I've been working on. Haven't really got a name for it yet. Two-headed Drak, Drak. Someone suggested double D. Kind of like it, but I'm not so sure. So yeah, open for suggestions on the names. But yeah, here it is. So let's start from the beginning. Some 3D printed noses. These were designed by a very good friend of mine, Shannon Baker. And this one is fitted currently with the DJI O4-Pro. And this is just a blank nose, and I put some weights inside just to obviously balance out the weight left and right. The noses are removable, so you can just see there's a little line there. So the nose can come off and then reattach. You can obviously fit a new nose to the base plate, which is glued into the foam. What I've also done is I've stuck a so I've got the wiring running down here, and at the end of the wiring is a USB-C socket, and on the other end of the leads from the DJI O4 is a USB-C plug. And I do that with a lot of my builds, so it just makes it really quick and easy to swap cameras over. And the idea being, if I want to test different cameras or run different cameras on different noses, I can just unplug it and plug a new one back in. I don't have to change any wiring then or anything like that. Might have to change some settings, but in terms of the actual wiring, it's all plug and play. Moving back, looking at the general fuselage, this is actually laminated with 25 grams per square meter fiberglass cloth. It's really, really lightweight, thin cloth. I've only done one layer of cloth on this, really just to give it a better surface finish, provide a bit of protection, more puncture resistance than anything. It's not going to add a huge amount of strength in terms of rigidity, but it does have tremendous puncture resistance, especially as I'm using a polyurethane resin, which has a bit of flex to it, but much better puncture resistance than epoxy, which is very hard, but it goes brittle and cracks. So that's what I use for this, and then it's just painted with a black, just normal Rust-Oleum black spray paint. EMAX servos. I can't think exactly what model they are. I'll find it and put it up on the screen. These are 5mm carbon rods, or 4mm perhaps, with 2mm ends on them, with a little ball joint on that side, and then standard metal clevis on there. But they are really solid. There's no play in those whatsoever. And receiver. This is the mLRS 2.4 GHz receiver from Matek. If you're not familiar with mLRS, although it sounds similar to ELRS, it is quite different. Effectively, if you think of ELRS as primarily a radio link, which also has telemetry, mLRS is the other way around. It's primarily telemetry link, which also includes a radio connection. And this has 1 watt output of telemetry, and it integrates the receiver link, so the radio link into that as well for the receiver. So yeah, fantastic telemetry, really, really quick as well. I've tried to keep it quite modular. So these vertical stabilizers, there's actually a join there. You can see the screws there. So I can then just unscrew those top and bottom, and then slide the vertical stabilizers out and replace them as necessary. The reason it's done that way is the wings are actually glued on completely all the way through. So there's a single spar running all the way through, front and rear. Normally with a mini Drak, the wings are detachable, but these are actually glued on permanently. So the only way to have a replaceable vertical stabilizer was to have it actually split and slide on. So there's a little basically an insert in between the two wing the wing and the fuselage, and then this slides over there, so it is really solid. It doesn't move laterally and or slide forward and back at all. It's locked in place. The elevons are balsa. It's a very good friend of mine. Very kindly made these for me, and they've been beautifully machined. I don't know if you can see the taper on there, but they're nicely tapered and machined, and they're quite a dense balsa, which I've then obviously coated with the fiberglass, and then I've done a tape hinge coated with some 3M Blendome tape, and then just painted it to get it all to match in. Yeah, motor mounts. These were designed by a friend of mine as well, and I've just mirrored them left and right so I can get the cables coming through this way around for aesthetics. And they are detachable, just with these bolts here. The actual plate inside there I had laser cut in 2mm aluminium plate. I think it's 2mm. So they are super strong, very nicely made, and I had a local laser cutting company do that for me. The motors are 2820 Sunnysky 1100 kV. They're a little bit punchy, so on launch I was reading, yeah, it was about basically 100 amps draw, or near as makes no difference, from the motors. So yeah, I think probably I could reduce the launch throttle a bit, because there's more than enough, and I think I might change the prop pitch as well. These are a 7x6. I think I'm actually going to go for maybe try 7x9 even, and reduce the launch throttle. The reason I want to do it that way is that currently on cruise, I mean, well, full speed and level, it's pulling 70 amps or 74 amps at 160, 170-ish kilometers per hour. Whereas I think if I run a coarser pitch, I can run at sort of half throttle at a higher speed and actually cover more distance for the amps I'm pulling. So it'll be quite a fast cruise. The idea is that, you know, half throttle should give a cruise speed of about 100 kilometers an hour. And yeah, it'll cover some ground quite nicely. The flight controller is in this center section here. In fact, I can just peel this up and show you, because it's just press fit in for now. So this is the Matek H743wlite. I direct solder everything where I can, and the wiring, I'll do an overview showing the wiring in a bit more clarity. But if I open these up, I've actually got a 3S battery in each side, and the reason I've done that is it's wired up in series. So I just flip these forward. So effectively the negative from this battery goes to the negative from the flight controller. The positive from this battery goes to the positive from the flight controller. And then the negative from this battery goes here and then becomes the positive on this battery. So it basically doubles up the voltage. So I have 6S 5000 milliamps from both batteries when they're connected in series. The wiring is a little bit longer than I'd like, but I can't really do too much about that with the twin fuselage. I can shorten the wires about 25mm or so, which will help a little bit, but it's not, yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah, I don't think there's really much I can do to get around having longer wires. They are 12 AWG wires, so they're quite thick, so there shouldn't be too many losses there. But it's just the nature of the build, unfortunately. The ESCs are 40 amp Hobbywing X-Rotor Pro. So they're 40 amps with a 60 amp burst, so that gives me a 120 amp burst over the two ESCs. What else to talk about here? Yeah, not much really. Yeah, I've just got a standard, I think, Foxeer GPS in there. Nothing special, just an M10 GPS, but they work very well. All the M10 GPSs are brilliant these days, and I think I was getting just shy of sort of 30 satellites during my flight on a cloudy day. So yeah, that was pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the overview of the build. it's not terribly complicated really. It was just fiddly, and I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that the reflex was set perfectly, the thrust angle of those was matched perfectly, and that the CG was, because it's obviously wider and it's a lifting body fuselage, I've had to pull the CG further forward to standard, and it was a, if I'm kind to myself, an educated guess, it was basically a pure guess that I thought it's got to be slightly further forward of standard CG, and in the flight it seemed to be absolutely spot on. So that worked out really well. It's quite heavy, it's 2.3 kilos, so yeah, it's got a fair bit of mass behind it, but as you saw on the other video, and if you haven't checked that out yet, I'll put a link in the description. It flew beautifully, so really happy. But I'm sure there'll be some questions, so do please put them in the notes, so in the comments, and I'll happily try and answer them. Thanks very much. Bye.
Acro mode.
Great success!
Engines disarmed.